All right, what's up? We're here with Phoenix, big time producer coming up now. You're on the come up now, or you feel like you already are like been on the on the come up.
Bro, okay, so I've been doing this music shit since I was like 11,
Yeah.
and I've been taking it serious since I was around 15. Um, Friend of mine actually motivated me to like just start posting shit because I was just trying to like, at first I didn't want any like notoriety or anything. Like I didn't even put producer tags on my shit.
Hmm.
And then I'm like, wait, my whole work is just getting stolen after I put all this effort into it. So I decided to take it much more serious and actually make a name for myself.
Yeah. Because was it like just
Uh,
type beats on YouTube, or was it you were just making
oh
like
no, I've never posted on YouTube. I've never posted on BeatStars.
so?
I started out on SoundCloud. I think everybody does that.
Mhm.
Just because it was easy. I posted like a six pack of snippets because I didn't want the beats getting stolen for some reason. And they're all like a minute long and they're all pretty much ass.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Posted a couple more songs and then I posted my first full beat album because I thought I was just gonna, just do that and then just sell the beats off as like Lisa's sorry, voice crack. Um, that actually did fairly well. Actually, some of those songs are still my most played on my SoundCloud, which is still funny to me, even compared to the shit that actually has artists on it. And then when I was gonna go for round two, I was like, well, fuck it. Might as well get some artists on this shit and just be like Metro, because I saw Metro went three times, get three number ones in a row as a producer. And I'm like, I can do that. So I just started doing that.
Yeah. So who'd you start off with? Like,
And
what were the first kind of just small time artists, or were you able to jump right up to the big time guys? Or
honestly, I just started texting people through Discord and Instagram. Like, really? I was just shooting shots in the dark.
Mhm.
And the first big time one that I got was Forever the Rebel, who I think has like almost 100K on Instagram now. And at
Okay.
the time, she only had like 15K, right? And I saw her music on an Instagram ad. And I'm like, I texted her immediately. I was working at a pool place, like a pool repair place. So it was like 9 in the morning. I had to
Hmm.
get there real early. So I text this motherfucker like, I want you on this album. I love your voice.
Yeah.
And I have a beat specifically for you. And because I've got like a lot of artist homies that I've known like forever who do music shit. Like I've got homies in fucking, you know, China and shit. And
Yeah.
like all over the US and different countries and shit. So I'm just like texting the homies. I'm in different servers. And then one day I'm just scrolling through Instagram and I just see Forever Rebel. I'm like, I need you on this album. This bitch texted me like immediately back. I did
Hmm.
not I expected this was just gonna be another shot in the dark, nobody was gonna respond type shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, instantly I had her join a specific server that I was in that I had the entire like beats list that you could pick from.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we just made like Other Side that day, and that's still my highest performing song.
Yeah. And that was like, so basically the way you did it is you weren't necessarily like selling beats right away. Like you were putting together like your own kind of projects just with a bunch of different artists you're working with.
And then I was trying to like lease those beats or sell them, and it wasn't really going well. So I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna just do it myself. Is
Yeah.
kind of the approach I took to it because
Cause
I was just like, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
yeah. Cause like
So I kind
how,
of figure myself. Sorry, I don't keep. I just need to finish the thought before I lose the thought.
yeah.
Um, I kind of figure myself as like an underground Metro that actually knows what the fuck a new drum kit is. Because Metro has not downloaded a new drum kit since 2016, and we're not gonna lie about it.
Yeah. Cause like that's
But
what
like
I'm,
my elevator pitch was always, "Hey, this is like a Metro album, but for the underground. Do you want to be a part of that?"
Mhm. a
And
lot of
that's
people,
kind of how I did things.
a lot of people attached onto that. Like you find or,
Um, a lot of people, not really, actually. A lot of people were not very open to the idea
hmm.
because they're used to, producers being in the background or getting beats for free off YouTube, and they're not used to, being a part. of something like that, something that's such a diverse project, which was my first project. There's emo music, there's trap, there's funk, there's fucking R&B, there's rage, there's everything under the sun in fucking 7 songs.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. What's that one
And
called?
I that's Places, Spaces, and Environments. That shit's on all platforms.
Definitely go listen to that, everybody. I gotta check that out too,
Yes,
honestly.
please,
The
please.
the variety.
And the B-sides is releasing soon. I know I've said this like 4 times, but we're actually getting to like the final point because artists take forever to
Yeah.
do anything. Like I'm telling you right now, I have 47 features I'm waiting on.
Holy shit.
47, some since May
Holy fuck. I mean,
of last year.
I guess we kind of. I mean, you probably already knew that, but I kind of learned that just during like putting together the Knife Gang album. I was like, oh wow, this is like not as simple as you would think it
You
would
know,
be.
yeah, no, you saw me and I was like, yeah, I'm ready to work, fucking everybody. By the way, being a part of the Knife Game album, if we're gonna talk about it, that was a great experience. I had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
I definitely want to be a part of the next one. Um, I feel like I met a really lot of cool people there. We did a lot of really cool things. I'm actually working with Listenable on some shit soon.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah.
And I texted Shitani and we're gonna work on some shit hopefully soon.
Yeah. Shitani's fucking cool. He's like,
Um, we were talking about actually there was a beat for King
hmm,
that obviously never got used, and I sent it to Shitani, and Shitani's like, "What if we got me and Leprosy on this?" And I'm
yeah,
like, "Please,
that,
please,
that'd be dope.
I beg, please."
Yeah.
So hopefully that goes through.
Just
Shitani is not the most responsive, but we hope.
yeah, he's busy. Like music is like his full time like career though. Like I didn't even realize that. Like he's touring all the time. He makes a lot of music. Does a lot of different stuff.
Which
But
I understand completely. I
yeah.
apologize for cutting you off so much. I'm just excited.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, because the next thing that we're gonna do probably is not gonna like. I'm glad we did the Knife Gang album because then I kind of learned how the process goes. But the next thing will probably be like Violently Peaceful tape. Like that'll probably be the next one we're gonna work on, to be honest with you. And that's gonna be a little bit more, like streamlined. Hopefully, it won't take 4 months. But we're working with
Fair
all small
enough.
artists, so and like we were
Yeah.
kind of small
And if
on
you
it
ever need me for it, I'm here.
for sure.
I
Yeah,
be around.
you're always making moves. So you went from yeah, like that's kind of what I wanted to ask too, like how the production, how the producer like pipeline is, because like I feel like producers are really important, but they're always kind of like pushed to the side, like you said, and I'm not really sure like how we've seen the rapper come up 1,000 times, but like a producer come up, like how would you explain that usually goes?
Well, Um, best case scenario, right? You get somebody like Metro, you get somebody like 808 Mafia, you get somebody like Southside, you get somebody like Timbaland who's been doing this shit for like the past 30 years, right? Somebody who's actually able to make a name for themselves and actually drive like this is my style of production,
Yeah,
right? But you that's like the golden goose. Like nobody really hits that stage, right? Like you can take somebody like let's say Murder Beats, right? We all remember Murder Beats run in fucking 2017 to 2019. This motherfucker was unstoppable. This motherfucker was making songs for literally everybody.
yeah,
And Murder Beats just like works with Shorty Shorty now. They actually have a whole collab album out with
yeah. I
all
found
Shorty
that
Shorty
too.
and Murder Beats beat. It's really good, by the way. You should go peep that. It's a really good album. But my point being is you don't really hear about Murder Beats anymore because you've got people like Hit Kid, who is the person who made FNF. You've got people like ATL Jacob, who's the people who produce pretty much all of like Lil Durk's and Hot Boys beats.
Hmm.
You've got people like Tay Keith who are still doing it.
Definitely,
The
yeah,
the the cast of producers is ever changing because the landscape of music nowadays is ever changing, at least in the mainstream.
yeah. And like
Um,
sometimes it's hard for producers to change their style and stuff, right? Too like that you find?
Especially if you haven't laid the groundwork like somebody who like Metro Boomin has, because with Metro you know what you're gonna get, which he's finally actually gotten out of that bubble with his latest two projects that he worked on, which I'm very happy for. But
Mm.
before that, you knew you were gonna get a dark, moody Atlanta trap beat.
Yeah.
That's what you got from Metro, and everybody was happy with that. But if you're not like appealing to the masses in that way and constantly being able to adapt to what's going on, it seems like after a couple of years, it's just like being a rapper. After a couple of years, you kind of just like fade away.
Yeah. Because unless you can like, because I kind of find now like producers, you almost have to attach yourself onto one artist to really stay long. Like you know what I mean? Like really work with them. It's like 21 Savage and Metro. You know, like
Yeah,
so.
to 21 and Metro, right? That's how they got their start together.
Mm.
And I don't see any personal issues with that approach. My issues come down to nobody really wants to share their fame like that
Mm.
unless they're in a collective, which I am in a collective. B, um, if it's like a known duo like Run the Jewels, which is, Killer Mike and LP, um, or, C, it's a smaller artist with a bigger producer. It's
Yeah.
never with a bigger artist and a smaller producer.
Yeah.
They'll always get like the best thing that the label money can buy,
That's true. So
which comes down to the fact of all of these songs now are sounding the same because nobody is trying anything different,
yeah, I
which is
get you.
what I'm trying to do.
Like I think like Jetson Made It is like probably one of like the worst fucking producers that I think is like.
I I personally wouldn't agree
Now you like him?
because I wouldn't say he's bland. I wouldn't say he's boring. Some of his beats do suck. We're not going to lie about it.
Mm.
However, the things that he did for Jack Harlow in 2019 and 2020, he produced beats for Wi-Fi's funeral, even though it's fuck Wi-Fi's funeral forever.
I
He
didn't
made
even
a
know
song
that.
with Wi-Fi, and that song has like I think like 400K on YouTube or something, and a whole music video. That song's actually pretty good.
So the one
Um,
with YBN Demir?
no,
No. Okay.
that's an old song. I
Oh,
know
this is
exactly
recent.
what song you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they have a recent song together?
No, no, no. I. Do you mean like the Jetson song is recent?
It's like 2020
Yeah.
or 2021. It's when he was still signed to Alamo, so he was able to get that fucking money still.
Yeah.
Um, but I wouldn't say he was one of the worst. Maybe one of the least, not even least versatile, because actually he's made some really different, like bouncy shit.
Yeah.
And, but I would definitely say that maybe his style is it's a little bit one note.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a one trick pony. It's kind of like you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
And I feel like as a producer, it's your job to not let people know that.
Definitely. I feel like.
Because
Yeah.
specking into like, one different genre, we see this with artists all the time, right? Where artists are over here, doing one style really, really well. Take 6ix9ine, take Comethazine, take YBN Namir,
Polo
take,
G.
fuck, yeah, take a little bit less Apology, because he kind of does two styles. But
The baby.
take even like Drake nowadays or
Oh.
DaBaby.
Yeah.
Like they stick to one thing and they're really good at their one thing, right?
Yeah.
But they've gone so far into this one thing that whenever they try to do something different, they're not gonna initially be good at it. So they either run into the trap of, oh, they want me to do the same shit over and over again, and then everybody starts saying, hey, you're kind of a one trick pony, and then you're falling off. Or B, you try to do something drastically different. It's so different that you alienate your core fan base. So it's a double edged sword in that note. And I feel like mainstream producers are falling into this trap of doing the exact same shit. And I'm just very confused because if you want to gain the most business, wouldn't you rather be a jack of all trades than a master of one?
Yeah.
It never really made sense to me in my brain why you wouldn't try to constantly elevate, and because music is all about creation at the end of the day. So
Mm.
why aren't we just like combining weird genres together, or trying something new, or making our own drum kits, or using like the most far out samples you can find? Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, I've made shit like Drill and B, which is taking drill, all of the patterns from drill, you slow it down, and but you make it feel like R&B. So it's still got the triplet hi-hats, still got like the whack ass bass lines that look like roller coasters, but
Mm.
it's still an R&B song.
That's pretty cool, honestly. Well, I never heard of that. So
Or you take I still have that beat, which I need somebody to buy that beat. And I've been sitting on it for 2 years. Somebody buy the beat. And I've got things like I've got like a glitch trap beat that right in the middle of it, I just sidechain the melody and I turn it into Jersey with
mm.
EDM transitions. Like,
Yeah.
why aren't we just like doing weird shit like this?
Well, it's probably
It
comfort, right?
never made sense to me.
Like they get to a point where they're making enough,
But
and people come to them for one thing, right? So they're just like, oh, you know what I mean? They probably have made different beats, but people are probably like, oh, I don't want no tropical Metro Boomin beat. Like, what the fuck? Give me my normal shit. Like, what are you talking? You know? Oh, I think you went quiet.
well, I mean,
There we go.
you've got somebody like I believe I think Zaytoven said this. He was like, I don't let artists say no to beats,
Oh,
right?
that
Like
was
if they're coming in the studio,
the guy who works with Future. I remember I seen that too. Yeah,
I think that's Zaytoven.
and
I
he
think
said
it's
no
Zaytoven.
skips, no skips policy or something like
And
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and that's how they made 56 Nights, right?
Mm.
And 56 Nights was an amazing fucking album. Somebody fact check my information if that is really Zaytoven. I can't remember at this current time and I don't feel like picking my phone up. But I believe it was Zaytoven.
Yeah.
And he was like, if an artist comes to me and knows what I do, they're not allowed to skip a beat. You will record on everything.
Yeah.
And I intend to get to that point to where I'm doing not that, hey, I'm able to find, you know, whatever style you're suited to, which is something I do now, but more of the fact of, hey, I want you to try something different. I
Yeah.
want you to be able to, if you're not able to express this on like your own projects, you can do it on mine.
Hmm. Yeah. Because we gotta
Like,
admit, like,
imagine like King on like a fucking rage beat. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine how dumb that would go?
baby,
Just something super synthy as shit,
he's got
and then just
a
like toss in right in the middle like metal guitar solos and shit, and then just make it work.
he's got like a drill song. So
Like if the energy was there, I think anybody could do it if you really just try.
yeah, he's at
There's
least
not
willing to
enough.
experiment, right? Like that's
Just
one good thing.
yeah, exactly.
But
And that's what one of the things that I'm thankful for with some of these artists. But some of these artists are just like, yeah, basically just go recreate this YouTube beat for me. And I'm just like, I mean, I'll take your money, but like, I'm not even gonna put a producer tag on this at this point because I'm not proud of it.
yeah, because like we gotta. I feel like the best songs you get now is like features. Like honestly, like I remember hearing like DaBaby on one of YoungBoy's albums, and I was like, holy shit! Like DaBaby can fucking rap because like he's on some. He's not on just
Yeah,
like
really. That if y'all haven't listened to the Young Boy to Baby project, it's actually pretty good. I
yeah.
actually rate it. It's short, it's sweet. Everybody's doing their thing. It's not bad at all. I actually think it's pretty good.
And I think
Hot take. I
that,
hate Young Boy's music. I don't like DaBaby anymore.
yeah.
But I listened to that project and it kind of went stupid.
And I think YoungBoy was on a Trippy project too, and that was actually like pretty fuck. It was just one feature, but it was like damn, like it was because he's not on those same fucking beats, and it's not just like oh lord, Jetson made another one. It's like fuck, I wish he wouldn't.
Yeah. Or ATL Jacob, LTL Jacob.
Yeah,
Like we like I can make a young boy beat with my eyes closed. And as an artist, you should not be able to have producers say that.
yeah,
I feel like that's just like if you are able to have a tight beat made after you because you're not constantly innovating your sound and what you do as an artist, I think you're just shooting yourself foot in the foot for longevity.
Yeah. And I was thinking about that the other day too. It's like those certain songs, you know what I mean? Like nothing against the artist, but it's like shit like Exo Tour Life and Topanga. It's like they would have been bangers no matter who was on them. And it's like just those special beats where it's like, damn, like nobody, you know what I mean? That's what people are like, oh, well, City Morgue, they got a lot of hits. I'm like, but they don't have that one song. Like Uzi's got that one song, like EXO, like, you know what I mean? Like Zilla and them, they've never had that one like amazing beat that it's just like this is the City Morgue song because you know what I mean. Like I guess it'd be Shinners or
Yeah,
something, but it's like,
either Shinners or 33rd Black Glass. But
but they got other
then you
stuff
got
in
to
their
remember that was like 7 years ago.
yeah 2017 wasn't it? Yeah,
That was 7 years ago. And the fact that, again, not really anymore because Sos hops on like kind of like rage beats and shit, and then you got Zilla doing the grunge shit, which I don't agree with you on. The grunge shit's actually pretty good, and
has he made any of
I
that
will
really?
fight.
Not
What,
really.
Zilla making grunge? Did you not listen to Dogboy?
I wouldn't really say that's like grunge. I guess if he wants to call it
It's
that.
like half of it's like grunge. Yeah,
The
half of
beat,
it
the
is
like the beats are
either that
kind
or
of,
like
I don't know. I thought it was always. I took it more as like X like type sad boy music more than like. I was kind of disappointed with Dog Boy to be honest with you. I'm not even gonna lie.
I thought it was a pretty, and see, that's something we're gonna disagree on because I thought it was a pretty good departure from his normal style
It was
while
okay.
still having enough in there to incorporate the core fan base.
I guess the thing is for me is like, with 13 songs to die to versus like Dog Boy. It's like Dog Boy was basically exactly what I expected it to be. Like it's not that I did have higher hopes for Zilla, I guess, but it's like you gave us exactly like you didn't. It didn't seem like he went off it like it's like okay this is a Zilla comedy solo like you know what I mean. I was expecting like this should have been
It
like
felt it felt more personal to me, and I feel like that's where I get my respect for it
oh
because
for
you've
sure
got something like Dead Girl or Space Cowboy, and though if you listen to like interviews about those songs, those were some of like his hardest songs to create because
yeah
they're about like real shit.
but like
Like, um, Dead Girl is about fucking his girlfriend who he was dating at the time, and he finished the song because it was like a warning to her, and he found out that by the time Dog Boy released, she was fucking dead.
yeah well that definitely adds like I
Which it it adds another layer, right? It adds like, damn, he's really talking about something right now,
and
and that's what I feel like is important to listen to.
I mean maybe it's just me but it's like um what's it called Rocket Man like that leaked Zilla song to me that's like his best song like that's on the level of like Star Shopping with me like that. And I know people go crazy about like oh we want Frailty and it's like those songs are cool and like I like them but it's like you you still haven't made another thing to the level of like Rocket Man. And I know it's like it's a one in a lifetime like Peep never made another song like Star Shopping. It doesn't mean he never made another great track, but I just kind of felt like these are like not, you know what I mean, they're not to the same
Are
level.
you
It's
saying that Save That Shit is not on the same level as Star Shopping right now?
Save
Because
that
Save
shit.
That Shit's way bigger.
No, but
It's like way bigger.
no, I don't mean like numbers wise. He never made another song that like
Oh,
sounded like Star Shopping. That
are
was
you
on.
saying that's his best?
No, but it's like very unique compared to like the catalog. I guess you know what I mean. I'm not.
The rest of his cat. Okay, yeah,
He
I can
never.
agree with you on that one.
He could never recreate Star Shopping. Is what I'm trying to say. Like if he even tried, I think it would just come off
Yeah,
as like P2 for Uzi, which is a good song, but it's more. It's kind of a
it
gimmick
didn't
to
do
me.
it justice in my opinion. It didn't do it
Yeah.
justice. I don't think it lived up to it. I saw
Nah.
what he was trying to do. I still stand by the opinion that I was disappointed by Eternal Take.
I was too actually.
I've warmed up to it. I've warmed up to it over the years, but I still don't think it's by far his best project.
It was repetitive, and I
And
feel
I
like
don't
people.
think I don't think it was worth the 4 year wait. I definitely don't think that.
Well, it's kind of funny. Like Whole Lot of Red, it seems like people have, as years go on, like it more and more. Where Eternal Take, it seems like people like it less and less. It's like they soured on Eternal Take, but they like and Whole Lot of Red. Like I don't know to be honest with you.
I
Like
fucking I don't like Cardi. I haven't liked Cardi since like 2016. Honestly.
yeah,
I didn't even like Self-Titled when it came out, other than like 3 songs. I didn't like Die Lit either.
trying to think. I don't even think I've listened to that one. I know I've listened to Die Lit and Whole Lot of Red, but I don't know if I ever
You've
listened
never
to.
listened to the Self-Titled album? It's got like Magnolia and Woke Up Like This
Oh
and
yeah.
Shoota.
See,
Yeah,
like,
that's like where all his hits come from, like his early hits.
see, that's like I kind of feel the same way about Cardi. It's like he's never really taught Magnolia, and people be like, "Oh, it's old and blah." Blah." It's like, yeah, but like he's never caught that same vibe again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, real shit, honestly. Like nothing that he's made has been that captivating
Mm.
since Magnolia,
And that's what
or
happens.
even like since that era.
Yeah, because he went
It's
too
it's
weird.
just I wouldn't even say that because I'm proud of him for experimenting.
Mm.
But I mean, I don't even like the new shit, and the new shit's different than the old shit. And I'm just like, maybe I just don't like Cardi anymore.
Yeah,
But really, I never did.
I was never a
I
huge
liked like
fan.
2015 Cardi, like Fetty and Broke Boy and shit, when he
Yeah,
was actually like rapping.
yeah. I always kind of found like I liked him, but I never. I always thought ASAP Rocky was like better. Honestly, like I listened to a lot more of him than I ever listened to Cardi. Cardi's
Lyrically, sonically, versatility wise, he's able to do more shit. His features are better.
yeah, and like
I'm kind of an ASAP Rocky stan, even though it doesn't seem like it.
praise the
Fucking
like praise the
yeah.
Lord. Insane. That was like the song of the summer. Like I'm not like I remember fucking listening to that shit.
But if we're gonna talk about it, ASAP Rocky hasn't made something like that since then.
I know this is what I'm saying again. They make these songs
Yeah.
like I don't think Trippy's ever topped Topanga. I mean Trippy's a little different, but
No, no. Trippy's different because Trippy never fell into the trap of sounding like one thing other than like the. Why the fuck is
yeah,
Pluto calling me right now? I can't talk to you right now. Jesus Christ. Um,
Pluto. Let's go.
one of the artists that's on the upcoming album. I can't talk to him right now. I'll talk to him later. Fuck. And he never calls me, so unless it's his manager paying me for fucking beats, I don't want to hear about it. Um,
Everybody's
Either
getting
that or getting open done. Like other than that, like I don't want to know.
yeah. Yeah, you're saying Trippy is like very like you find is very versatile.
Well, even ever since like like a love letter to you one, like if we're gonna keep it a band, like he was always doing different shit.
Yeah, and I
So
can
he never fell into the trap of sounding like one artist. He never fell into the trap of not being able to evolve while other artists have struggled at the very least to do that.
yeah.
And it hasn't been taken as well. But with Trippy, like he kind of, if we're gonna really talk about it, he kind of got X's fan base. He
Yeah.
was able to because X was always evolving. X was always changing his style. X was always doing something different, which I feel like music wise, we don't really have the same mentality anymore. We're just trying to make a number one now. We're not making music just to make music anymore.
Mm. Yeah, and I could definitely say there's a song like I my favorite Trippy song I think is like that I wish that you would love me like wish you'd love me more like I like that better than
Yeah,
Topanga and I couldn't say that about Rocky or Playboy or Uzi well
it's
Uzi maybe but I don't know
but like obviously with artists you have your top song, right? That's the top song that everybody knows.
mm,
But also when you really dive into a catalog, you have that song or that feature that really just sticks out to you and that's your favorite.
yeah
And it feels like a juggling act between doing what like the masses want nowadays versus what your core fan base really wants and trying to appeal to both sides. It feels like a lot of artists struggle with that. So
yeah
with my music, I try to appeal to everybody. I have something for everybody. Like on this project, I have fucking emo shit. I've got fucking Jersey shit. I've got Rage shit. I've got fucking like 2017 Bones shit.
Yeah.
And I've got Afrobeat on this project. You wouldn't expect a white boy to make Afrobeat, but I can do it like a motherfucker.
And
Um,
yeah. Another yeah,
it
cuz
just feels like we're not trying enough. We're not doing enough.
but artists get
Like
boxed in
trying
too.
to blend,
Like don't you
but
find that?
artists are letting themselves do that to themselves.
Well, it's like look at Juice
Like
World,
you are
right?
your own person.
He tried so hard. Like I never considered him an emo rapper. He made a couple emo songs, but he was boxed into that so bad. I think just because he did drugs. Like he never really was an emo rapper. He rapped, like he actually rapped. Like you know what I mean? And he
No, if you really listen to him freestyle and you really got to be, because we're not gonna lie, I am a Juice stan to this day. I don't listen to leaks or anything like that, but I will bump his fucking catalog to this day front to back, even the old like Juice the Kid shit.
yeah,
And even back then, this motherfucker was rapping his ass off.
exactly.
And with him, I feel like it's a little bit of a different case because obviously the label was at play there, and the label still is at play. Fuck Grade A for life. Um,
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, he didn't let himself get boxed in like that.
yeah. Like if he had kept
And
going, he would have surpassed. I don't even like. I don't know how you feel. I think Lucid Dreams at this point, it's like I can't even listen to it. Like I
it
find,
annoys the shit out of me. I'm
yeah,
not gonna lie.
it's not that it didn't age
I
well.
remember. I remember. No, I remember. I remember when that shit came out because I was an early Juice fan. I was listening to the 999 EP, which if you actually know, it actually came out on the 999 EP as well as All Girls the Same, and then he just re-released that as well as Used to and Sticks and Stones.
Hmm.
Um, four of those songs actually made it onto the debut project when he got signed.
Yeah,
But I feel, how do I word this?
don't want to piss them
I
off.
remember when Lucid Dreams came out, and I remember when everyone started to notice because the Lyrical Lemonade video came out. I remember I was a very early subscriber to Lyrical Lemonade. I was subscribed like back in like 2015 or something.
Hmm.
Like I was there back when like he was doing like Chicago shit,
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
low budget videos that really just didn't look like anybody else, and I thought that that was creative. And even to this day, Lyrical Lemonade is making careers for people.
yeah. I got
And
opinions
I
about
feel
them.
like, I mean, we can talk about it in a second,
Yeah,
but I feel as though because the Lyrical Lemonade videos got so big, that had a hand in boxing him in because those were
emo
what
songs.
people saw first.
Yeah,
That's what people really latched onto. And we had artists fucking we had just lost Peep and like very soon after we had just lost X and it felt like he was kind of the final frontier for that sound
hmm.
that actually, did it well, was able to capture that feeling pretty much to a T.
Yeah.
And when you have so much of a demand for that, what else are you gonna do?
Because I thought like 2019 was like a pretty fucking terrible year for music altogether. Like, or at least rap. Like a lot of the new rappers, like we got Blueface, DaBaby, Megan the Stallion, Don't Hold Me On, a Little Tekka. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, there's so much trash coming out. It seems like the SoundCloud wave's dying. And I remember like, I'm like, but Juice is still. Every time I'd be like, I'm so disappointed in rap this year, but it's like, but Juice is still winning. Juice is still winning. Like, fuck it. Like, at least he's getting bigger. Oh, he's just got a song on the radio. And then it's like, he passed right at the end of the year, and I'm like, that's it. Like it's cooked. Like that's
Yeah,
the end of
no.
the SoundCloud
Yeah.
wave. And it was like,
I've followed a lot of, music YouTubers over the years, and one of my favorites was Patrick CC, and he made a video of the exact time that the SoundCloud wave died, and it was the exact time that Juice died.
yeah,
And I really do agree with that because we kind of had a second run with the new age artists like Slump Sixes, Tana, Young Chris, but it didn't have the community feel because SoundCloud at the end of the day was a place where people were able to really start a movement and people were really making music just to make music. And nowadays, it's just treated like a stepping stone.
Yeah, and
Like that's where you start and then you get signed and then you just start releasing on all platforms and you kind of abandon your SoundCloud account. But I never really understood that because those at the end of the day are your day one fans.
yeah,
So why would you abandon your day one fans at the end of the day? Like I know Spotify will always be the bigger, streaming platform and all of that. I'm still a loyal SoundCloud user to this day, but I'm pretty much I can bet I can speak for the minority on that one.
yeah. Well, I don't know if like. I think it is partially
I,
juice,
I miss the I miss the community aspect of what SoundCloud did for artists.
but see,
I miss the whole
I don't think that necessarily like I know when Juice like when it was like we have no like head, we have no but I do think that maybe in a couple years it could I think it was more so COVID and also like when the TikTok stuff first started, everybody hates TikTok music nowadays. I know some of that shit was trash, but it was like I kind of felt like it was SoundCloud again. It's like, oh, there's kids in their like room like popping off on TikTok. This is awesome. And
yeah.
but they didn't let it go as far as SoundCloud because SoundCloud scared the fucking industry. They're like, oh shit, people can do this without us. Change the rules to the game. So when TikTok started coming out, it was as soon as that fucking I'm a Savage da 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 Megan the Stallion song came out. That was
Yeah.
like the end of creativity on TikTok, and then it was all industry shit. And ever since then, it's just that's why
Mm,
the community
I
broke
wouldn't
down.
agree.
You don't think
I
so?
I wouldn't agree. No, because you've got people like the Kid Ace, you've got people like Solo Cello, you've got people like fucking
Gnarly bastard,
District 6.
or whatever that
You've
song
got
was.
people like Baby No Money.
Oh man, not
Like
him, not him.
obviously Baby well, if we're gonna talk about it, right? Baby No Money did start on SoundCloud, but he really blew up on TikTok, right?
Yeah,
And Baby No Money and people like Shotgun Willie and people from even like the YouTube era of music are now blowing up again on TikTok, which is it's kind of a double edged sword because nowadays you've got you don't even have the one hit wonder, you've got the one verse wonder
yeah,
because people just know the one popular TikTok clip. And it's like the saddest thing to see. Like I think we all saw like the Steve Lacy clip of everybody knowing the hook of Bad Habit and nobody else knowing the rest of the song, other than like two people who were at the show. And I feel like that is the most horrifying thing that you can do as an artist, is
yeah,
have that happen. And that's the most heartbreaking thing I think I've ever seen as far as me being an artist, which is also a reason why I don't utilize TikTok. I don't utilize short form content. I don't really believe in it. I
hmm.
know it could do wonders for my career, but I hate editing. It makes my brain spin and it takes way too long to get what I want out of it.
Hmm.
And I know that there's so many more people who can do it better than me.
Yeah,
And B, I don't want to fall ever into that category of the one verse or there's one beat that people have heard that are like, that's what they know me for.
yeah. Well, I feel like people reject TikTok a little too
And
much, right? Like, but I get what you're saying though.
well, we can't even say that because TikTok is the biggest social media platform pretty much ever.
No, but I mean like the
Like there's
underground rejects.
oh, oh, for sure.
Yeah, they see it as like
Well,
inauthentic.
maybe nowadays, but when it's obviously like you were saying when it first started out, it was definitely a place to where hey, you can really like make a career here.
And I have some
And
nostalgia
now
for that 2020 music. I'm not gonna lie. Like even though it was kind of trash at the time, it's like, it still got some nostalgia. Like I would take more from that "Make a Cup of Coffee for Your Head" song than I ever would from "Body Yaddy Yaddy Yaddy" or that fucking "I've been sexing a fucking trash" that we have now from Jack Harlow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which I've got some opinions on Jack Harlow, but we're not going to talk about it at this current moment. It's not what we're here for. Um, because I
Um,
could talk about Jack Harlow all day because no, let's talk about it. I was an early fan. I was a fan of Jack Harlow back in 2017. I remember when Confetti came out. I remember when the Loose EP came out. I remember when fucking like his early shit is so much better than his newer shit. And there's so many artists that you can't say that for. And I feel like that is also one of the most heartbreaking things you can hear as an artist.
hmm. Like,
And to me, he kind of just like Drakeified himself.
yeah. And I think that's the disconnect a lot with Jack Harlow because I can't say I'm an early, but when I heard "What's Poppin'," at first I was like, "This kind of shit," and then it grew on me. And then I remember I was when he put out like Tyler Yahweh that song, I was like, "Well, this is actually kind of cool."
Tyler Harrow.
Or Harrow,
Tyler
yeah.
Harrow.
He went in a whole different direction. I'm like, that's kind of unique, honestly, for a second hit that he just didn't try to make "What's Crackin'" or whatever, even though he'd been
Yeah.
milking the song for a while. Um, but I think that's
But even with like the What's Poppin' remix, he didn't just like, slap his hook on it and then let other people do the thing and then just have like one verse instead of two.
hmm,
He really did another verse and everybody spazzed on that song and the remix almost got as big as the regular version. And
yeah,
I feel like that's what you aspire for with a remix, right?
exactly, yeah. It's
That
not,
should be that should be the golden standard. That's what people should be aspiring for.
yeah,
When you have a hit, that's how you captivate on it, right? But
exactly.
why aren't we still doing that? Why are we taking the most lazy option to get another like 3 million streams? Like
Well,
when you could have a song that really flips the whole entire song on its head
like I think the thing is the
and gives
problem.
it so much more replayability is
And that's what I've been trying to tell
what I'm
artists
trying to
too,
say.
which I feel like is kind of like a topic that's all through our conversation has been a lot of artists, and I think this is a big problem with Jack. Like he had mixtapes on mixtapes on mixtapes. So obviously he's a person, right? So he sees it from his perspective. Well, I've been grinding and grinding, and then I finally got my spot. But what artists need to understand when you pop off with that first song, that is technically the start of your career. That's where people, like you said, with Juice World and Lucid Dreams, it doesn't matter if he was grinding for 10 years in the underground. That's the start of his career. So now Jack's like his new music is like he acts like, well, I've already made it. Like you said, the Drakeification. He raps like he's Drake, but he doesn't have 10 years in the game to act like he's Drake. It's like, dude, you got two shit albums, if we're gonna be honest, a decent one, and some
Yeah.
hits, but it's like you can't be rapping like, and even Drake, it pisses me off. Like that Certified Lover Boy, like he just sounds like he's asleep. Like I don't give a fuck. I'm so. It's like why even make music if you're so up? You know what I mean? Like you're so. I don't even gotta
Drake
try
hasn't
anymore.
been good since Views, and that's a opinion that I'll stand on to this day.
I like
Drake
Scorpion.
hasn't been good since Views.
That
I
was a
don't like Scorpion. I hated Scorpion when it came out, and I still hate it to this day. I think that it's the most it started the commercialization where he felt like, damn, I really don't have to try anymore. I can really put anything out, and it will go number one.
yeah. Maybe
And this shit
started
was
it.
proven with honestly Nevermind.
Hmm. What was that one? That was the
Because
weird
if
one
you
that he did. That
that
was a
was the weird fucking house album that every single beat sounded the same, and it was the most trash project from a mainstream artist that I've heard in a minute. And I listened to fucking uh DaBaby's fucking Boogeyman album. I listened to that, and
he has one good song,
I
that
li- I,
Joker one.
I
That's the.
listened to Vision Lane by YBN Namir.
I was
I
excited for
listened.
that.
Everybody was.
Yeah.
Everybody was excited for the return of YB and Namir. And then fucking Soul Train came out on it. And everybody
Yeah.
just clowned him to oblivion.
He
And I found that so funny.
I,
But
like
like
I was gonna do like I had an idea for a video because you know how everybody talks about like Smoke Perp and like he's like the he created triple cardboard and like and I wanted to be like Is it YBN Namir or Smoke Perp who had the more embarrassing fall off? But I feel like it's no competition. YBN Namir just like at least Smoke Perp knew when to stop. Like Namir just embarrasses himself over and over. Like the Adem Ross stuff
You
going
know,
on right
Smoke
now.
Perp.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's still chasing that clout to this day.
It's like
And now he's trying to do the artist who fell off thing where he's trying to like have a label and shit. And I find that so funny because you blew up during the SoundCloud era. You blew up in a time where everything was anti-industry. It was counterculture. And now you've become the very thing that you despised. And I think that's the most poetic justice for somebody like YBN Demir that I've seen in a very long time, and I'm honestly just giggling every day over it. It's very funny to me.
yeah. Like you can't even feel bad for the guy because he still has like I seen him crying and shit like when Soul Train came and it's like you felt bad but it's like he still got such an ego to him and it's like dude like oh my god like you gotta
You
like
are not that guy anymore.
you
You're
never
not that guy.
you never were. Let's be honest with you
Like
like
as much as we shit on Blueface, right? As
yeah
much as Blueface did a celebrity boxing match, right? He
hmm.
won, by the way, if you don't know about this.
I didn't
But
know
he took
about
a
that
20K payday.
hmm.
Yeah, no, he beat that kid's ass. He beat up Bryce Hall.
I didn't
He
even know
beat
there
up
was a
that
boxing
TikToker,
match. I
Bryce
don't
Hall.
follow Blueface like
Yeah,
I can't
I think it was like 2020 or 2021. It was
hmm.
during the pandemic.
Yeah
And, but he knew what his value was, right? And he was like, all right, I'm going to take that money and I'm going to go invest it into what I'm doing. And he beat that kid's ass. And then he went off and did his thing.
yeah
And YB and Namir has so much less buzz around his name. Obviously, Blueface does it for all the wrong reasons, but Blueface is still in the headlines to this day.
yeah
And which we can't say for a lot of those artists who blew up in like 2018 and 2019 and even 2017. Like we can't say that for a lot of them. And
and it's like
when I saw YBN Namir not even be able to take 20K, I'm like, dog, what's going on here? Because you are nowhere near in the headlines even as much as Blueface, and he was able to take 20K.
yeah yeah like who cares about like why like I didn't even hear about the fucking switching sets type shit like and like that's the last thing I heard, and even that I barely heard. It was like Soul Train was your last shit, and like people like Blueface. I remember hating Blueface back in the day. I thought he was a cocky motherfucker, but it's like with Adam 22 too, like Adam 22 and Blueface. It's like you kind of been waiting, like oh, when these guys fall, it's gonna be like enter. But it's like the way they fell, it's like you can't even be mad anymore because it's like wow, you guys just did the weirdest shit. So it's like I can't even like hate you anymore. You know what I mean? Like because
You're
I
just weird now. Like
exactly.
you're just weird.
Because Adam I always found had a huge ego, and I was like, I know someday like shit's gonna fall apart, and like, and then he just went into this cuck shit. And now it's like, oh, I don't even care anymore. Like, it's not even
Yeah, no.
entertaining. It's not
It's
funny. Like, it's just fucking weird.
like obviously we still follow Doe Jumper for like latest rap news. I think we all can attest to that because the following count doesn't lie. But
Yeah,
well, it
like,
does if you're gonna count bots. But at the end of the day, it doesn't lie, right? The engagement on every single post doesn't lie,
mm,
you know. And
like
I feel
I don't think it's fair for like for the longest
obviously
time.
we've had a fall from grace from what No Jumper used to be,
Hmm.
but he never really fell off.
No, like he's still. eh,
He really didn't. He's still doing his thing even after like screwing fucking House Phone and AD, after screwing so many people, after screwing so many artists, after straight up trolling artists for years just to get a reaction out of them.
mm,
But he's still, at the end of the day, he's still here. He's still doing his thing.
And
Even if he took the least honorable path,
mm,
and you can't even hate him for it.
exactly, you
You
can't.
really can't.
And I think that that's like, I think
Like
that
he's
people.
weird, but he's still paid every month.
Yeah,
He's still he's still able to stack his bread every single month. consistently and not have to care what your opinion is.
Like I
With
think
YBN Demir, you cannot say that. You can't.
nah, he's probably not making much nowadays. Like I guess like royalties off of
Nobody's
whatever. Maybe. Like
Yeah, he had rubbing off the paint. He had bounce out with that.
and
He had the YBN
Apostapa.
mixtape, and then he had Opstapa,
Yeah. And maybe Soul
and that's
Train.
it.
Maybe Soul Train's making money. Who knows? People probably still listen to
Nah,
it just
Soul
to
Train
hear.
didn't really get that many.
Now? Nah.
Uh, maybe for like masochism purposes.
That's what I'm saying. Like just like a terrible song that people. Yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying. I think that's why people are so mad at No Jumper. It's because we're upset like what it could have been. And for the longest time, I was like, oh, you like Adam really had nothing to do with the rise of No Jumper. But after I started listening consistently to a lot of interviews, I'm like people got to give it to him. You can say whatever you want. Adam is a very talented interviewer. Like no matter what you want to say,
He is.
more than he doesn't push so hard like fucking DJ Vlad that it's uncomfortable as shit. He's not weak and soft on people like some of these other guys where it's just like, do you want to maybe
He's
talk
not
about that?
antagonizing on purpose
Yeah.
like DJ Academics does.
Does he like?
Like
Does he interview?
he
I don't even
really
watch his shit.
knows what
Yeah.
he technically is, but not really. He's more of a blogger.
Yeah.
But say what you want about Adam, he knows what he's doing at the end of the day, and it still works to this day. So you can't even hate on it.
He can get the answers that nobody else can. Like he'll be like, "Hey, so
A
what
man
about
is,
this?" And they'll be like, "I don't want to talk about that," and then
yeah,
he still gets it somehow. Like
exactly.
it's not like
Like
Vlad.
obviously in some cases, like like Chef G or like some of the people who like really understand that hey, self-stitching is not a good thing.
Hmm.
But like most times these artists are they're so desperate for that no jumper cosign that they'll answer any question.
Yeah, and I don't even necessarily like even if there is times maybe people haven't answered his questions, it's not as awkward. Like I was watching a GMEB Bands like interview with DJ Vlad the other day, and it's like it's so fucking awkward because like he just keeps pushing it, and it's like, dude, I get you want the answer, but you gotta at least like strategically try to ask it a different way, not just like, oh, so you're with the Stones, and they're like, yeah, we don't really want to talk about, it. And they're like, yeah, but you're a white Stone, like it isn't, and it like just keeps asking it in the same way, and it's like, Vlad, like, fuck
Like
off.
Vlad, come on. Come on now.
I've never
It's like the
liked him.
boozy clip. Come on now, man.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
I remember him sitting around with Adam 22 doing that interview, and he's like, "Don't you feel like uncomfortable that we're like white people in hip hop?" And Adam 22's like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Vlad?" And he's just like, "Yeah, it's just like nobody respects us for being white and shit." And it's like, I don't think anybody actually gives a fuck about
No,
that, Vlad.
nobody respects you for being you. Like, because you're you,
Yeah,
Vlad. You're you. Like, if we're gonna, everybody nowadays will call, Adam a culture vulture and all of that shit. But Adam really grew up around that. Adam is a product of his environment at the end of the day. And
yeah,
you cannot be mad that somebody is a product of their environment. And somebody that's so invested in that culture obviously is going to take things from that culture
yeah,
and imbue it into their own personality because at the end of the day, that's what they do,
mm,
right? That's just what us as people do. With DJ Vlad is a suburban kid
yeah,
at the end of the day. DJ Vlad has never been in the streets. DJ
mm,
Vlad has never had to, break a couple knuckles or get his shoes dirty or, lace up his ties, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
and
seeing somebody like DJ Vlad being able to say that because he's white is the reason that he's so hated is just like a slap in the face to every single other person who is not of color doing what he does but better.
yeah, and. And like with the culture vulture shit, it's not that I necessarily like. I mostly don't agree with it, but I do get why people get mad when it's like you can be part of the culture. I don't think people really care as much about it anymore, but it's when like you're actively like having too much to say. I think that's the reason like they have,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to really speak on the streets cuz I will actively tell you like I don't know shit about the streets. I've never been in the streets. I don't there's no gangs from where I'm at. I try to empathize, well I can't say the fucking word, with people who like I remember when I did my Burn Caz video, like Drown Millie hit me up and he's like, I appreciated that video because you actually made Burn Cass seem like a person that, like, got into trouble. You didn't make him seem like he's just like a thug who came out of the womb with like a gun in his hand and like a rag on, a blue rag. And I'm like, yeah, but that's like the reality. And I think some people, they're so disconnected from it that they don't even think like, well, these people are still like people. Like we're all still people. Like whether,
Yeah, I'll speak on that a little bit because I'm from Cleveland, right? I'm from Cleveland, Ohio,
yeah,
and where I grew up, right? I watched my friends become dope dealers. I watched my friends start robbing people. I watched my friends become gang members. And I've watched myself become that person before.
mm,
And it's just like what I was saying, it's being a product of your environment. But even if you've grown up in that place, even if you know that shit firsthand, even if you've lived that experience, like I was pretty much like the only white boy there. Like I was like one of the only white kids who was actively in the streets doing, you know, the
yeah,
shit you see and the shit you hear about. Like I've gotten my shoes dirty. I've broken a couple people's teeth. I've curb stomped a couple people. I've I've done a lot of shit that I'm not proud of.
mm,
And the fact that even to this day, even though I've lived all of those experiences, I will still be called a culture vulture
mm.
because of the way I dress, the way I act, the way I do things, the way I conduct myself personally.
Like,
It feels like a slap in the face to everything that I went through personally.
yeah,
And I feel like it's just getting to the point of being able to escape that is so hard in the industry that, if we're really going to be honest with ourselves, is still very black controlled.
mm,
And I'm not saying that as if it's a bad thing. I'm saying that as a matter of fact.
yeah,
It is a place where people of color started this.
mm.
And me as somebody who is not of that, it will always seem like I'm trying to take.
Like,
And I find that both demotivating and both, but at the same time, I find it as a way that I constantly have to prove myself, which I'm willing to do.
yeah,
That, hey, I've earned my spot here. I know what I'm doing here.
yeah.
I have the talent and the willpower to actually make it here.
Mm. And like,
And I've
see,
dealt with that label pretty much all my life
oh, you have like
of
you
being a culture vulture. Yeah,
really,
like
yeah,
cuz I'm a white boy. Like I'm not going to lie about it. And like motherfuckers go to my Instagram, you can see some fucking modeling pictures. I don't give a shit. And like I never, but even though I grew up in Cleveland, I never really, how do I word this? I never really fit into one box,
mm,
right? Like I dress alternatively, I speak alternatively. Like I've got a very diverse set of different slang and different ways that I say things. Like obviously I can speak intelligently at times, but if I'm faded or something, you gonna see the ghetto come out of me type shit.
yeah.
Like, and it's not like an act. It's not a voice that I put on. It's just
It's a ta-
different.
I mean, it's kind of a talent though, if you can talk to different people in different ways. Like, I feel like that's if you can. I mean, that's communication, and like you talk to
At
different.
the end of the day, that's what it is. Like
Yeah,
people understand things differently in different places.
exactly.
So I can't say the word eloquently in the hood to describe something that's, said well and be like, he's spitting that shit. You know what I'm saying?
That shit's
Like,
elegant. That'd be funny as
no,
fuck,
I
actually.
said eloquently.
Oh, eloquently.
Like,
That would actually be funny
or
though if you're ever in the
succinctly,
studio.
or like, just like, damn, that shit majestic. And
Yeah,
motherfucker says, what? And I'm like, nah, that shit fire. And he's like, oh, okay, feel you. And,
that's actually funny. Be
but
like,
I
yeah,
feel like if we're gonna speak on it, right, even in the collective that I'm in, right,
Yeah.
I'm the only person who is A, not from Savannah, Georgia,
Mm.
originally,
Georgia. Yeah.
and B, I don't know any of the members in person.
Mm.
I've never met anybody in person. I've never had the opportunity to. And obviously, I'm not from there, right?
Yeah.
So at times, it feels like I'm just an imposter trying to, make a spot here. But at the end of the day, I have to remind myself, hey, I was let in here for a reason. My
Yeah.
talent speaks for itself. I
Yeah.
think that I've earned my spot here with what I do and what I'm able to do.
Like.
And
Yeah.
it's still fighting that imposter syndrome of, even though I was raised here, even though I lived your life, I've had your life experiences, because I am the person that I am and I don't fit in necessarily into that perfect mold, that I will always be fighting for my spot here. And
Yeah.
I hope to one day get to a point where I don't have to.
Like I've thought about this a little bit before, but like I guess definitely from the perspective that you're telling me is like interesting that you've like had that say said to you before. Like I haven't had that said to me before, but
Yeah, I've
I
had
have
that said to me all my life type shit. I really have.
I have seen YouTubers like, and like I don't want to say too much because like nothing against any like I really don't try to talk on people that I don't know, but it's just like more something I've noticed than an actual like character flaw. Like I've noticed with people like Trapler Ross and like Patrick CC to a certain extent, it's like kind of like you said, it's like there's still kind of a discomfort to them, like that. It might be the
Yeah,
imposter
because it's a
syndrome.
white boy from the suburbs speaking on things that they don't know about.
I'm yeah, but I mean like
But
I feel like
I know about that shit.
and I'm
Like,
not saying that
I've
the
lived that shit.
I'm not saying that I think they're detached. I'm saying it's like
But
they are uncomfortable with where they are. Like it's like they're not able to. I feel like that's where you would have the skill. Like we shouldn't be thinking about that. Like we should just be thinking, okay, like this is what we do. Like we shouldn't be. I feel like with people like Patrick and well Ross is a whole different thing because he's like in shit that he probably shouldn't be in. To be honest with you, but it's
yeah,
just
no, Trap Lord Loss is in a league of his own. But like people like you know, Patrick CC. Um, Patrick CC at the end of the day is an internet kid,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So he's a product of being able to take in information and explain it in a way that most people can understand pretty damn well,
Hmm.
right? When it comes to certain subjects, however, it seems a little tone deaf that somebody from his background is speaking on something that he only sees through the internet's eyes.
Yeah. I mean
And I
like
feel like sometimes that's the issue that we run into because everything is so readily available that we do only see things from one perspective, which is through a screen.
yeah.
And when you don't have that certain life experience, when you can't really understand the mentality of, damn, why would he go, pop off for just saying something about, so and so, right? But where I come from, that shit's taken much more seriously. It's not just banter. It's not just, just joking around. That shit really happens. Like, I've seen
Yeah.
somebody piss on a tombstone and, like, really mean that shit.
Man, like
Did I agree with it? Did I agree with it? No. I will never agree with that.
that Vaughn
But
like
I can say to this day that there are a lot of people who I can say that I've definitely smoked on
hmm,
because they've and it's not even like an ego thing because in Cleveland we don't really have like that gang politics shit. We don't really have that like, even like block politics shit. Well, to a degree we do, but at the end of the day it's actual personal beef, right? It's somebody did something to you and in retaliation you do something back. And obviously that's the cycle of violence.
yeah. It's
But
it's but I get it though.
at the end of the day when you have a more boots on the ground experience, it gives you a different perspective to like, oh, like I hear this all the time. Oh, why couldn't he just like let that shit go?
Yeah.
Like why couldn't he just, not worry about it, focus on his own career, getting his money, and then flex on him in that way? It's not about that. It's
Yeah.
about the disrespect. It's about it's about ego to a certain degree, but it's about protecting your own and you not being able to. Because where I'm from, we don't take that shit. We do not take that shit lightly. Like, speak on one of our people, we do not take that shit. That is not a light offense, and
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people can resonate with that message.
I
And it's just about protecting what is yours.
yeah.
And I feel like when people haven't, struggled for anything in their life, they can't really understand that perspective. And so they're just labeled as, a thug or somebody who's just doing too much or a crash out when in reality he's just defending his family.
Yeah. And
He's just protecting his people and their name in the streets. Like he's just
it's like
saying, "Hey, some shit's going to happen if you keep pulling this bullshit."
yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people don't really understand nor do they respect that. And I feel like that's something that definitely needs to change at some point.
Yeah. Because like from my perspective, like, and I'm assuming it would be completely different, but it's like I've had people do like terrible, terrible, terrible things to me, and it's like I think like I'm not trying to say oh I understand, but like I'm just trying to relate to my own experience to it. It's like the fact that like somebody can do something so abysmal to you and then like make it into a joke or like continue like like I can imagine the rage of just like I've had people like I've wanted to kill in my own personal life, but it's like for somebody to like take somebody away from you and then make a joke out of it, like it really is
Yeah.
a lot to like put. It's like well it's gonna ruin you, but it's like at that time you're not thinking about it. It's like they've just like destroyed my life and they're not even being like human right now. Like there's no they're being like so it's like disrespect on a level that I don't think people can even fully like grasp like that how
Yeah.
much that.
It really is.
And I'm not saying that the cycle of but it's like I remember like two specific things. I unfollowed DJ Academics because I was getting like fucking depressed and angry honestly by watching his shit. The day that
Right.
that guy that Quando Rondo's buddy got killed and DJ Academics posted the fucking video of the dead body or whatever.
Vaughn.
It wasn't Vaughn.
Yeah,
It was
that's Vaughn.
no. It was this was somebody like killed Quando's buddy like a couple years later after Vaughn
Oh,
in
oh,
traffic.
somebody killed some, yeah, 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 yeah. I remember the whole Quando's like setting his flag down because he lost his brother or some shit. Yeah, I remember that shit.
Like they pulled him out and Quando's like screaming and like I was like I don't know trying to sound like fucking a pussy or anything, but I was like that shit made me sick. And then I read the comments and people were like, oh, they slid. I'm like, this is like, do you understand? Like this is like somebody like their friend just got killed in front of them and this man is like in pure agony and you guys
Yeah.
are just like you're not attached to this. Like this isn't a sports game. This isn't. And like when I watched the
This isn't a Call of Duty match, bro. You don't get any respawns in this shit.
no, like
Like,
that's somebody's dad.
and
That's somebody who's gonna grow up with
like that's
no
somebody's
father.
dad, that's somebody's friend, that's somebody's brother, that's somebody's sister, that's somebody's, little cousin, that's somebody's family member, that's somebody that they grew up with for their entire lifetime. And I've seen people die in front of me that
Yeah.
I've been very, very, very close to. I've seen people who've taken themselves out who I've been very, very close to.
Yeah.
And then to in turn see that being made into a joke by somebody who doesn't like you or somebody that doesn't like what you stand for, it it is the most enraging thing, and it will make you do things that you thought you would never do.
Hmm.
And I really, ooh, let me calm down a little bit. Ooh, okay. I feel like the internet has propagated the whole, get that shit back in blood type mentality.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I can understand wholeheartedly on a boots on the ground level where that comes from.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, I need to provide for my family. I need to be able to be here for the people that mean the most to me. And at the end of the day, that's not worth sacrificing every single thing that I love just to put another point on the board.
Yeah,
And
for
I
sure.
feel like that's a mentality that a lot of people need to take back into account.
For sure. Yeah. Like stop having that cognitive like we all stir shit online. We do it, but it's like I can kind of understand now, I guess, why some people are like, "Oh, with DJ Academics, it's like and it, like leading to real life like violence, you know." And it's like you never want to get to that point where it's like, okay, you're stirring some shit, maybe, but you never want to like lead to like real, you know what I mean? You report something and then somebody gets like killed because you reported it. It's like, fuck, I couldn't
There
imagine.
was that one case, right? There was this rapper who a dude from a different clique tried to, catch him in a home invasion, right? To try to backdoor him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he killed him, right? The next day, he decided to post a picture of himself standing in that dude's blood in his apartment with money on the ground.
What the fuck?
12 hours later, he was dead.
That's fucked. I don't even know what to say. That's just fucked.
And and he went on DJ Vlad, and that's all that DJ Vlad wanted to talk about.
Hmm.
So the people who are the interviewers, I'm not saying you, but I'm saying like mainstream interviewers are part of the problem at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
Yeah, the
And I
screw
feel
shit.
like that's something that needs to be talked about. That how the fuck do we stop this?
Man, I don't even
And
know.
I feel like when you come from a whole different perspective, it's not even a thing in your mind that you can stop this.
Yeah. Fuck.
And the internet has gave it so much more of an ease of access to be that antagonizer, to take that shit to the next level, to be able to propagate whatever you're trying to propagate.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of it too. I won't lie about it. I've definitely said some shit on the net that, looking back on, I am not proud of that I've taken part in.
Mm,
Like,
definitely. Like I mean, I guess
and
everybody does it. Like you know, to an extent.
I mean, everybody has a regrettable experience. Everybody, I'm talking more like what we're talking about currently. Like, I've definitely smoked on somebody.
Hmm.
I've definitely been able to say that, and more than once. I've definitely done some really dumb shit, but evolving as a person and being able to say, hey, I have things that I want to live for nowadays. I have things that I'm striving for nowadays. Because back then, I didn't give a fuck. I
Hmm.
really didn't. Like, I didn't think I was going to make it to 16 for the longest time in my life. I was on so many different drugs. I was drinking every night. I was like 13 when I was doing this shit. I got
Yeah.
into this shit really, really early. And I was doing so much shit. So I didn't care at that time.
Hmm.
But now coming out of that experience and being able to say, hey, we're doing better, we're getting money, where we're able to, really have an impact on people. I have shit that I want to do now. I and I think that a lot of people haven't hit either that other side of that or don't even want to see people get to the other side of that. Don't want to see people get to that other side of clarity of, hey, we're putting the sticks down, you know what I'm saying? We're putting all that shit down.
Hmm.
We're, you know, promoting something different. People don't want to see that. People just want to see the bad shit. People just want to see people getting shot. People just want to see the gang violence continue. People just want to see, bodies drop.
Hmm.
And I feel like there's a certain point where we need to say, what the fuck are we doing? Like, really? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And I don't see a point where we do reach that. Honestly, I don't.
I mean, yeah, it's like generational, right? But I mean, I guess having
It is.
conversations like this is like a good start, though. You know, at
It
least
is. But when it's coming again, when it's coming from somebody like me, it's going to seem disingenuous,
Yeah.
even if I've lived that experience. And that's something I have to live with, right? I'm not weaponizing anybody for that. I'm not saying anybody's evil for thinking that. I understand wholeheartedly where that mindset comes from. It's still it's different at the end of the day.
Yeah. I get you, but like I'm
Because
glad
I'm
that
stealing from a culture that I came from that doesn't really, the math isn't really mathing there.
but I'm
And
glad
who
we
are
were
you
able
to
to
say
discuss
what
it though,
I've
you know.
lived?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fuck, we got in a deep hole, didn't we? But I mean I'm glad where it went actually. It was
Let
super interesting.
let's wrap back to something music wise so
Yeah,
that we're not speaking about this shit full heartedly. What
because
else you
you
got for me, Twisted?
well, I mean, like I feel like now I just want to see like what you got to promote, like what you got coming up, and like that, like you know, I know it's kind of
Okay.
weird like to wrap back to that, but you know,
Now we can I'm definitely a topic jumper. And I'm wholeheartedly fine with going on different tangents and I'm genuinely glad where that went.
yeah,
Um, music wise, okay, let's wrap back to it.
hmm.
Okay, so I want to put on first my collective because Killing Vultures is definitely a movement. They're doing shows and shit. They're in Savannah, Georgia. They've got a show actually very soon. Um, Here, where's my phone? I can actually ask when the fucking show is. I think it's actually in like the next 3 weeks though.
Hmm.
They're having they're having a I think it's actually during what would be their spring break. Put that in air quotes because I can't do it.
Hmm.
Um, but they're having like a fashion show slash concert, right?
Okay, yeah,
Killing Vultures is definitely some as much as sometimes I get some sort of imposter syndrome from being there, I am proud to say that I am a member of them.
hmm.
And I am proud to say that I am part of that community. And I feel like that is somebody that's really doing something different. That is somebody that's really they're really doing different shit. They're going against the grain openly and seeing success from it. And that's something that I really resonate with personally. So go check out Killing Vultures. Um Certain artists I'm gonna shout out. I'm gonna say shout out fucking obviously we gonna shout out fucking Twisted over here for having me here, which I hope that this doesn't end because I got more shit I want to talk about right now.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna say it right now. Shout out Twisted.
hmm.
Shout out Knife Gang. Shout out Killing Vultures. Specific members I want to shout out of Killing Vultures. Obviously my manager Kevy. I want to shout out Artie. I want to shout out Culture and Sailor Genki.
Hmm.
I want to shout out PD and Trey. I want to shout out Lex. I want to shout out Simply Logical. I want to shout out JT Money.
Hmm.
Uh, Most certainly, I want to shout out Frost because Frost is the homie at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Um,
everybody, the whole underground.
Really, really, uh, I'm not gonna say the whole underground because some of the underground is whack as fuck.
No,
Certain other people I want to shout out. I want to shout out Don Voss because we've made some really good music together, and I hope he's really doing well. I haven't heard from him in a while,
hmm.
and I hope that he's genuinely doing okay. Shout out Forever the Rebel. Go check out her shit. She's super fire. She's definitely one of those people who's ever changing and versatile. Shout out Pluto Crazy with an X instead of a Z. We got some shit coming out on the way.
Yeah, he just called.
Um, yeah, he just called me. We gonna get back to it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit him back because we got some shit coming out.
Hmm.
Um, I gotta get his manager to pay me for them fucking beats.
For sure.
Shout out Drip Drowning. Drip Drowning is somebody who makes really good, um, like genre compilations and also mashups.
Hmm.
And I actually wanted to talk to you about putting one of his mashups on Twisted Society, which we can either talk about after or we can just like cut out of the interview.
Hmm.
But shout out Drip Drowning for sure. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
Shout out Skelly. I hope he's doing okay. He be AFK sometimes. Shout out Muzzy. Muzzy is a Twitch streamer who streams pretty much every night. Um, he's actually been one of my biggest supporters in this music shit. He actively champions me. I've actually done some work for him for both his personal channel and his channel that he does with his roommate that he reviews animes.
Oh, that's cool.
He calls it the Bro Stars instead of the Joe Stars. I
Hmm.
actually sampled JoJo's Giorno's theme in both a Jersey beat and like a 90s like hip hop beat
Hmm.
for him. Shout out Xanakin, honestly.
Yeah, definitely shout out
Shout
Xanakin.
out all of Saber Gang. I've got a lot of shout outs to go through. We gonna be here for a minute.
Hmm.
Shout out Mino or shout out Menno.
Hmm.
Shout out Menno for sure. If you don't know who Menno is, you gonna learn who Menno is. Menno is so much bigger than me and so much more talented than me if we're gonna keep it a band.
Hmm.
Menno is a rapper who is able to pretty much hop on literally any beat and spaz on it. He's a fucking freestyle king. Uh,
Oh shit.
Shout out Noose Mob,
Yeah.
honestly. Shout out to fucking Noose Mob. We
Haven't heard
love Noose Mob around here.
haven't heard from them in a minute, but I'm sure they're gonna be back to it.
It, on God, they're gonna be right back to it, and I'm excited to see that. Shout out Cheesy. I know you don't respond right now, and I hope you're doing okay. But I genuinely still want to work with you if you ever see this.
Hmm.
Shout out Narcotic Crow because we've made some amazing music together, and we still talk every day. And he's still one of the people who pushes me to be the best artist that I can be. And honestly, shout out Skirt. Skirt is one of the people who helped me even start doing this music shit. He's pretty much been like um he's pretty much been like my manager but both my personal champion at the same time. I
Yeah.
have a lot of respect for this man. He's definitely been there when nobody else was. He's been with me since day one. He's been with me since I was dropping fucking. He's been with me since Pleasures, which was 2021. He's
Hmm.
been with me since then. And I actually met him through the Wi Fi's funeral Discord.
Yeah, I think you were telling me
Um,
about that. Yeah.
yeah, which we can talk about it in a second if we want to talk about Wi Fi. But shout out to Skirt, because if it wasn't for Skirt, I wouldn't be here today. Genuinely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I would not be the person nor artist I would be today without Skirt.
Yeah. We gotta say.
Um,
I feel like we saved the Wi-Fi stuff for
I've
later.
got a, yeah, we'll save that for a minute. And honestly, if we're gonna keep it a whole band, shout out my girlfriend.
Hmm.
Shout out Francesca. Because if I didn't have my girl through this, oh, I don't think I would honestly be alive today.
Hmm.
Because she has been my personal champion. She has been with me through every single step of the way. She's been with me through thick, thin, me getting kicked out, me going almost to jail, me being able to get out a message every single like 3 weeks. And that was like the only literally at one point I had to use the browser on my on an Xbox 360 to log into Discord to say, "Hey, I'm okay."
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
Like, I'm
It's a,
talking, it was that bad.
it's a real one.
But without her, I would not be here today.
Hmm. Sure.
Um,
Is that anybody else?
uh,
I mean, I don't think they'd feel disrespected.
shout out GG by the way. Shout out GG.
Hmm.
GG is one of my producing homies.
Hmm.
We have some collab tracks out, and he's another producer. Um, we've made some shit together, and he's also genuinely been one of my champions since the jump. And as much shit as I give him, as much shit talk as I give him, I still love that dude.
Hmm.
He's still a cool ass dude.
Yeah.
And um I think for right now, unless I can think of more people, unless I can think of more people at the current moment.
Yeah.
Personal people, honestly, shout out Mark. Mark's my homie from the UK who makes fucking who he makes uh what's that? He makes breakcore. Like the most insane break music you've ever heard. And we definitely like to bounce ideas off each other constantly. That's one of my closest online friends. And yeah, just shout out Mark, honestly.
Yeah.
Mark is he's like that older brother figure who's also went through the shit that I've went through and understands my perspective on most things. And um yeah, he's just been also one of my champions. And then last shout out I'll give to is definitely Alder, who's also one of the online homies. Um he's been doing his own thing recently. He's going to welding school and shit. But shout out to him at the end of the day because he was also there as well as Mark in some of the darkest of times
For sure.
and never did no bullshit because I don't I don't really have friends that I grew up with anymore.
Mm.
I don't really have like quote unquote day ones. I have maybe two. That would be Anna and that's Donnie, right? Those are like homies that I've knew who've known me since I've used to do heavy drugs, was on maximum amounts of bullshit.
Mm.
Those are like day one homies, right? But other than that, everybody's either dead, gone, in jail, or ghosted me for some reason.
Mm.
And I never found out why.
Fuck. Yeah.
And the internet has provided so much of a place to where people have made me feel welcome even if I've never met them in real life.
I agree with that for sure.
So, honestly, shout out to all those people. I know that was a lot of people, but there's a lot of people that I need to give their flowers.
Mm.
And there's certainly more people that I can. Um, but I just think that those are the people that definitely need to get their flowers.
Yeah.
So I will be sending you like 40 different Instagrams to put in the description for these shout outs.
For sure.
But KV on top, always.
Yeah.
If you're not tapped into Killing Vultures, you will be tapped in very soon.
Yeah. For sure. All right. Shit. I'm just gonna probably like cut this last part out, but like, yeah. If you want to come on again though, like, we're gonna like exclusive here. We're gonna try to start maybe like an underground like podcast type of thing where we just talk like every week. If you down to
I'm
be on
so
that.
down for that. And I actually want to get Killing Vultures an interview here, which there's I think 17 of us,
Holy fuck.
I think.
We can try for sure.
Yeah. Um we have one interview out that I actually appeared in from the United Underground. That I think there was like 12 of us,
Yeah.
but it was a lot of people.
I mean, yeah, we'll give it. We can give it a shot. Like I said, I'm gonna get. It's just gotta get to the point where I can do them more regularly.
I
But
feel you.
I gotta call slumping
We'll
a bit.
definitely be able to coordinate that.
Yeah. All right.
Um,
Well, appreciate you.
as far as let me
Yeah.
let me wrap it back around because I you asked the question, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna wrap it back around. Music wise, okay, the B sides to Places, Spaces, and Environments is coming soon. I promise it's coming soon. I've said it like 4 times, but it's coming. I promise. I'm waiting on like 2 or 3 features now. We have like 7 songs done. I'm gonna cap it out at 10. We're not gonna do 12 to 14 like I wanted to, but 10 I'm happy with. It'll be on all platforms. I will be releasing release dates soon. As soon as I know them, we will be able to do that. Um oh, go check out fucking Kevy and Friends, which is the Killing Vultures latest collab album. Go check that shit out. It's a lot of different music. If you're not used to it, you probably won't understand it. It's a lot of it's a lot of different genre bending shit.
and some of it sometimes does kind of sound like noise, but I promise you, if you're into that shit, you will like it. And there's a lot of solo members that do all of their own things. There's definitely somebody for everyone. If you don't like my music and what I'm putting out, you will like what they do.